Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Heroes, hitting you with another brand new video in our series, The Most Badass Moments in Power Rangers, season by season. This is for hashtag Power Month. Happy 30th anniversary to Power Rangers, and a more phenomenal Power Month to all. So yeah, little series I thought of here, trying to kind of keep up with content and things like that, and have something out there other than just like the Geets reviews and here and there a Toku Toy review and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to be talking today about Power Rangers Time Force. But before I get there, a little bit of a shout out to our YouTube channel, the Henshins and Homies podcast. We've been doing really well there. We're at about 180 subscribers, just under 200, something like that. Great, crazy, awesome, insane amount of views on the live streams and stuff like that, and our other listed videos. Been doing great as far as I know numbers wise for our podcast being put everywhere you can see a podcast at all. So I really want to, appreciate all of you guys that are crossover fans of not just me, but also of the podcast. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. So, but that aside, excuse me. Power Rangers Time Force. This was another really kind of badass season for me. Wild Force was kind of a whimper, in my opinion, but Time Force was really good. I mean, the theme song, the Time Force, like yelling at you, like you pretty much have to be energized while watching it, is really good. And overall, I enjoy the cast of characters. The story overall presented is pretty good. I love the whole ideas of like fate versus destiny and being able to change that fate. And overall, it's just a really good time. It's just got a really good energy to it and a really great cast of characters that have extended way beyond the series into things like the Boom Studios comics. The Power Rangers Hyperforce is technically a division of Time Force, technically, with Jen Scott as their mentor. So yeah. As far as most badass moments, we'll get there in a minute, but I just wanted to give a special shout out to Aaron Cahill, who plays Jen Scott, because we have literally a Pink Ranger leading the team this season. Red might be Wes in general, like Wes or a variant of him in some way, as Red Ranger, but he is not the leader, and I think that's really fucking cool. And it kind of paved the way for things like current day, where we're about to get Cosmic Fury, where Amelia has been moved up from pink to red. So really awesome, and I really hope that we continue to see that in the franchise, no matter where it goes or what ends up happening. Yeah, I just want to give a little shout out. My microphone is trying to leave this mortal coil. So Time Force. I definitely will say my number one most badass moment is probably going to be the debut of Quantum Ranger. I really enjoyed Eric right from the beginning. I know he was kind of he comes out right out the gate, guns hot, being an absolute asshole, right? Just an absolute terror. He's been a dick to Wes. They have a whole backstory where they grew up in prep school together, and he was just trying to one-up Wes. And then you find out later, as far as I know, and I'm pretty sure this is right, and if I'm wrong, I guess I could be wrong, but I thought there was something talked about where Wes has always had this money he came from that got him into that school, but that Eric has had to kind of persevere, that his family wasn't as well off, so they kind of had to spend a lot of extra money and get a lot of extra scholarships and things to get him into that school that Wes was in. So once he gets into the Silver Guardians, he's like, well, fuck this. Cool. I'm awesome. I'm gonna beat the ass of the Rangers to every little thing that happens here. I'm gonna be the one to stop things. Then when he sees Wes's damaged helmet and sees that Wes is the Red Ranger, that starts the gears turning of okay, well, how can I get a little taste of that? Somehow Wes has found a way to one-up me yet again. How can I even the playing field? So I really like that, and I like how with Daniel Southworth, he knocks it out of the park as the character, clearly. Does a really good job of, they do a really good job production-wise of the footage between him and the guy that plays Time Fire, Kosei, or whatever his name is. That's Kosei is the name of Neon's dad in Geets. That's played by the actor, but Time Fire, his actor. They do a really good job of cutting between it. They have a very similar, longer black haircut, so it's really hard to tell the difference in the footage. You can, if you're somebody who's watched the show for as long as I have, but it's kind of hard to tell on the surface. But his debut episode where he gets the quantum controller and gets the morpher and everything and transforms for the first time is super cool. Super cool. And every bit of what Time Fire was in Time Ranger is kind of translated all the way 100 to 200. It's cranked up to 1,000,000 with him, because Eric also kind of doesn't have a fucking lot of respect, not only for Wes, he doesn't care about his dipshit teammates either, in his opinion. So it takes him a while to want to work with them. I mean, he eventually does, but it takes him a while to feel comfortable doing that because he sees them as not his equals, sees them as below him, which I really liked. I thought that was really cool. That was a nice touch, and I thought that was really unique. So I really enjoyed that. The debut for that was really, really good. And some of his moments near the finale were good, where he was helping out Wes near the end. He even kind of gets his own battleizer of sorts. And speaking of that, a runner-up, runner-up moment for that, or a honorable mention for most badass moment. Definitely the battleizer for this season. I really like that it's a night aesthetic for it for Time Force. I think it's really unique, especially because the theme song lies to you as if they're going to time travel all over the place the entire season, but they don't. But I really enjoyed it. I love the night aesthetic with it, the helmet, the sword, every bit of it is really, really cool, and I like how it's put together. It's a really goofy episode where Wes is literally fighting. He's going on a date with Jen, and he's literally fighting a black knight, like a physical guy in a black knight costume. It's an actual medieval knight that's like a cursed knight or some shit like that. It's ridiculous in every way, but I love it. It's so deeply, intuitively Power Rangers, and I love it. As far as I remember, the team up with Lightspeed, I think it was Time for Lightspeed or whatever, is pretty good. I think it mainly just had to do with Vipra being the main part of the main bad guy in it, or the main focus bad guy. But we get an awesome team up morph, which is great. And we get Quantum Ranger and Titanium Ranger morphing together, which is cool. I always am excited about that, because the Titanium Ranger is a completely American-made concept, and we'll be talking about that more in the Lightspeed Rescue episode next time. Next in this series. Sorry to trip my words. But yeah, it's a really, really good team up from what I remember of it, and I'm a sucker for the team ups in general. But it's a really good team up. So what did you guys think about Power Rangers Time Force? Did you love it? You hate it in the middle? Are you in the camp that thinks that it's way too similar to Time Ranger? I've seen bits of Time Ranger and I see the similarities, but there's a lot of things that aren't similar. Like the Yellow and Time Ranger has this whole story arc about, predestination and is it okay to get to know and even fall in love with people of a different time period where you're not from here, and blah, blah, blah. Whereas Yellow and Time Force kind of doesn't get a lot to do, in my opinion, honestly. Honestly, it's really the Wes, Eric, and Jen show. The rest kind of fall to the wayside, unfortunately. They're still decent characters and fun to watch. But yeah, another thing in Lightspeed Rescue Team Up I really like is that they do this cool thing, and it must have been the actors that must have dared each other to do this, because at the end of it, the Lightspeed Rescue Team gives the Time Force Rangers their own Lightspeed jackets. And he said, "Well, you got the jackets. Time to do the dance." And they're like, "All right," and they straight do their Lightspeed Rescue, that little the morph pose thing. That was cool to see an entirely different team do the morph pose of another team. That was cool. Gives me wild ideas about this team has fallen in battle. We got to take their powers and use them for now until they can get back. You know what I mean? Just there's so many cool crossover-y type things like that it's just cool to see. I always love the attention to detail and morph poses and henshin poses, as you know. So that was a really cool little moment. But let me know what you guys think about Time Force. I really enjoy it. I think it's a pretty awesome season. Probably one of the best the Power Rangers has ever gotten. And definitely has had some ripple effect into the future for, current day content even, honestly, for the most part. But again, thank you guys so much for the love, support, the comments, the shares, the views, all that good stuff. This, you guys subscribing when you can. That really, really means a lot to me. This is one of my highest performing playlists so far, so I'm really happy about that, and that you guys enjoy the content of me talking about this stuff. I do want to eventually find a way that I can add some music to the videos, and some little transitions and photos to pop up, things like that. It's just harder to find the time for that, for the programs that I need for that. But I will eventually do something along those lines, just to kind of add to the production value. But again, thank you guys so much for watching today. And stay tuned for next time. We'll be talking about Lightspeed Rescue. But as always, stay hooked on heroes. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. And may the power protect you. Time Force!